Hey everybody. As you remember, when we left chapter 3 in Winn Dixie, Opal had asked the preacher to tell her 10 things about her mama. And I said, make your predictions. What do you think is going to happen? And I bet most of you feel like chapter 4 is going to be about the preacher telling Opal 10 things about her mama. So you're right, that's what's going to happen. There's a couple words that we want to go over. The word constellation, that's when the stars form together in the sky and they make kind of a picture out of the stars. Okay, so the constellation is a group of stars. And then the word judge. Now, judge can mean several things. It can mean the person, like, remember the story, The Trial of Cardigan Jones, where they had the judge in there and it's like, oh. That's not what we're saying here. This judge is talking about when you judge somebody, like you make an opinion on them based on how they look, or sometimes it can be kind of a critical way, but you form an opinion about someone or something, whether it be good or bad. But, have you ever heard somebody say, don't judge me? Meaning don't make an opinion about me based on what I'm doing. Okay, so it's going to talk about that in relationship to Opal's mama, feeling judged. Okay, so chapter 4, here we go. We are on page 26 on chapter 4. Everybody get to that page. Remember, I want you following the words while we read. If it helps for you to follow along with your finger or a pencil eraser, certainly do that, okay? Because sometimes it's hard to... your eyeballs want to take a little trip on the way down to the word, so it sometimes helps to keep your finger on the word, okay, or a pencil eraser or something. Okay, here we go, chapter 4. 1, said the preacher. We were sitting on the couch, and Winn Dixie was sitting between us. Winn Dixie had already decided that he liked the couch a lot. 1, said the preacher again. Winn Dixie looked at him kind of hard. Your mama was funny. She could make just about anybody laugh. 2, he said, she had red hair and freckles. Just like me, I said. Just like you, the preacher nodded. 3, she liked to plant things. She had a talent for it. She could stick a tire in the ground and grow a car. Now, he's being silly there, okay? She couldn't really put a tire in the ground and grow a car, but he's just saying she was really good at planting things and growing them. Winn Dixie started chewing on his paw, and I tapped him on the head to make him stop. 4, said the preacher, she could run fast. If you were racing her, you could never let her get a head start because she would beat you for sure. I'm that way too, I said. Back home in Watley, I raced Liam Fullerton and beat him, and he said it wasn't fair because boys and girls shouldn't race each other to begin with. I told him he was just a sore loser. The preacher nodded. He was quiet for a minute. I'm ready for number 5, I told him. 5, he said. She couldn't cook. She burned everything, including water. She had a hard time opening a can of beans. She couldn't make head nor tail of a piece of meat. 6, the preacher rubbed his nose and looked up at the ceiling. Winn Dixie looked up too. Number 6 is that your mama loved a story. She would sit and listen to stories all day long. She loved to be told a story. She especially liked funny ones, stories that made her laugh. The preacher nodded his head like he was agreeing with himself. What's number 7? I asked. Let's see, he said. She knew all the constellations, every planet in the nighttime sky, every last one of them. She could name them and point them out, and she never got tired of looking up at them. Number 8, said the preacher with his eyes closed, was that she hated being a preacher's wife. She said she just couldn't stand having the ladies at the church judge what she was wearing and what she was cooking and how she was singing. She said it made her feel like a bug under a microscope. So she felt like people were always watching to see what she did and how she acted, and she just hated that. When Dixie lay down on the couch, he put his nose in the preacher's lap and his tail in mine. 10, said the preacher. 9, I told him. 9, said the preacher. She drank. She drank beer and whiskey and wine. Sometimes she couldn't stop drinking, and that made me and your mama fight quite a bit. Number 10, he said with a long sigh. Oh, number 10 is that your mama loved you. She loved you very much. But she left me, I told him. She left us, said the preacher softly. I could see him pulling his old turtle head back into his stupid turtle shell. She packed her bags and left us, and she didn't leave one thing behind. Okay, I said. I got up off the couch. Winn Dixie hopped off too. Thank you for telling me, I said. I went right back to my room and wrote down all 10 things that the preacher had told me. I wrote them down just the way he said them to me so that I wouldn't forget them. And then I read them out loud to Winn Dixie until I had them memorized. I wanted to know those 10 things inside and out. That way, if my mama ever came back, I could recognize her, and I would be able to grab her and hold on to her tight and not let her get away from me again. And that's the end of chapter 5. Now, one thing I want to point out is number 9, the preacher said she drank. And, you know, moms and dads will have glasses of wine and beer and stuff like that. But Opal's mama drank a whole lot, where it was a problem. Sometimes people drink a lot, like way too much, and it can become a problem, like it changes the way they behave and the way they act. And her mom had a problem with that. So she was, sounds like a lovely person, but that was just one of her little things that caused her some trouble, I think. So that's the end of chapter 4. So for chapter 4, same thing. You were just going to, Opal was told about the 10 things about her mama. That's what she wanted. So you're going to, on your paper, chapter 4 at the top. At the bottom, the preacher told Opal 10 things about her mama. That's what I wrote. If you have a different way that you want to write that, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure it's a good sentence or two that gives a summary about what chapter 4 was about, and then your picture to go along with it. Okay? All right, we will meet again, and our lesson next time, we're not going to read a chapter the next time, but when we meet back together, I'll tell you what we're going to do, okay? It's a little activity. All right, be good. I know you're being good, right? Are you? Are you being the best you can be? Make sure you are. I know you are. Just do your best. Be good for mom and dad. Be good to brothers and sisters. Just be helpful, okay? All right, talk to you soon. Bye.